Big one. Good morning, everybody. Good to see your bright, shiny faces on this dreary Sunday. But at least it's cool, right? Maybe the last of the cool days, I'm told. So, welcome everybody to Westside Unitarian Universalist Church, where compassion leads us to work for justice and equality. I'm glad you came today. And it's my hope that you will find something here that nourishes your heart, feeds your mind, and grows your spirit. My name is Darren Cote, and I am your worship leader this morning. Be you a spiritual seeker, an atheist, or a theist, Westside is a community of many beliefs, genders, and sexualities. A community of diverse cultural, racial, and class backgrounds. A community of varied abilities and gifts. Some here find inspiration in the great books, others in the great outdoors, and others still in great conversations. Whoever you may be, all are welcome in our inclusive congregation. And so to newcomers and old friends alike, together we say, welcome. Yes, our friends from Grapevine are back. So at Westside, cue the little people, we are raising the next generation of Unitarian Universalists, and we want them to know that they are an important part of our community. Several years ago, we chose to be radically inclusive and to adopt a multi-generational worship where our services include all family members. So welcome to all children and youth of all ages. There are a number of announcements included in your order of service. If you missed one, Gerald's got them in the back there. You can grab one. Please take any of them with you that you think you might need for reminders this week or to share with others. I'd like to call your attention to a couple of them. Of course, today, weather permitting, we're going to have Amy Martin leading us on a wildflower walk after the service. And May the 19th, you'll see something in your inserts on the Westside Lunch and Learn, where new members are offered an invitation to join for a lunch and learn to learn more about Westside and some of the UU principles. So that should be exciting. And food's always good. So for those of you that are joining us online or visiting with us today, and you're not already on our mailing list, please sign up by clicking the link at the bottom of our homepage at the westsideu.org website. And for those of you that are here in person with us, you know the drill. Please make sure that your cell phones or other devices are silenced. Thank you. So today, our reflection will be presented by Amy Martin. A journalist and writer for over 40 years. We've got some of her publications right here on a table outside. Amy is the author of Wild DFW, Explore the Amazing Nature Around Dallas-Fort Worth at wilddfw.com. Also, one of my personal favorites, Itchy Business, a poison ivy handbook. I am really looking forward to it. We were talking about that offline, and I'm really looking forward to hearing the tricks of the trade because I am tremendously allergic. She is a senior features writer for Green Source DFW at greensourcedfw.org. A current project is Ned Fritz Legacy, nedfritz.com, which is a biographical website of Ned Fritz. Some of you may know or not know this, Texas' most famous environmentalist, Ned Fritz. You'll find her writings there at moonlady.com. So with that, I invite you to take a deep breath And from wherever you are, settle into this sacred space that we create, and let us worship together as we listen to this morning's prelude, Bless the... That's when I got to get right. Bless the Beasts and Children by Vorzon and Botkin, performed by Dr. Yuki Kumamoto and Dr. Yuki Kumamoto. Thank you, Yuki. We're lucky today because not only am I your worship leader, but it gets better. Most of the speaking today, even beyond the reflection, will be done by Amy Martin. So she's been gracious enough to help us with that today. So thanks for that, Amy. And without any further ado, I'll let you have the podium.
The opening words. Ancient Mother, I hear you calling. Ancient Mother, I hear your song. Ancient Mother, I hear your laughter. Ancient Mother, I taste your tears. As do many Unitarian Universalist congregation, we begin our time here today with the lighting of the chalice, the symbol of the faith. Absolutely correct. The chalice is a symbol of our Unitarian Universalist faith and represents the Unitarian Universalist Association, or UUA. The flaming chalice symbolizes the heritage of our past, the warmth of the community, and the light of hope within this church today. I commemorate that with a short chant by Starhawk. We can rise with the fire of freedom. Truth is a fire that burns our chains, and we can stop the fires of destruction. Healing is a fire running through our veins. And now for the opening hymn.
If you'll please stand as you are able, we'll sing hymn number 21, For the Beauty of the Earth.
Please remain standing and join me in our affirmation. Love. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, to work for justice through action, to serve others in community, to the end that all souls shall grow into harmony with creation. Thus do we covenant with one another. You may be seated. Please come forward if you are young at heart or would like to have a close-up view of our Time for All Ages, presented by our effervescent Director of Lifespan Religious Education, Nikki Kennedy. Then we will sing the kids out with This Little Life of Mine, number 118, in the gray hymnal.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Oh, I like that so much better. It is dreary and kind of blah outside, so I am happy to see all these smiles. You guys smile at each other. Adults smile at each other. Turn around, greet your neighbor. We need all the sun we can get this morning. I am so glad you guys are all here and that you're all sharing love with each other this morning. And let me see your smiles one more time. Smiles, smile. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So, last Sunday, our youth shared and led the service. And when I was looking through pictures that we included in the videos, I found pictures of daffodils because where we stayed, the Camp and Conference Center we stayed in, the people that originally owned the land, they were in love with daffodils. They threw thousands and thousands of daffodil bulbs, I'll get it right, B word, bulbs, all over the property. So we would walk around and we would see so many daffodils, more than I've ever seen in Texas. And I admit I have to apologize because I did not get a picture for you guys to all see on the screen, but I'll share one later. But here's a picture, if you guys will share those. And I want you to share those pictures. And adults, you can imagine a daffodil. You've probably seen one, maybe in a picture book, maybe in somebody's garden. But when we look at daffodils, there's lots of things you may notice about a daffodil. Can you guys tell me some things that you see or notice about daffodils in those pictures? Yes, Amelia? They're white and yellow. Yes, Alice? Oh, yeah, some of them have two colors. Some of them are yellow in the middle and white on the outside. Some are solid yellow. Thank you, Alice. Yes, Rusty?
I found a different one.
You found a different one? Yeah, it's on the side. Yeah. Roman, did you notice something?
Yeah. There's one right here that has a hint of black in it.
It does have a hint of black. Yes, Chloe. They grow in clusters. Yeah. One more thing, Roman.
They are all different.
They're all different. That's true. That's absolutely true. No two daffodils are the same. That's true. But I want you to look really carefully at the pictures, and I want you to notice something. There's something that's really important about a daffodil. And when the daffodils come up from the ground, they're still pretty hard. And sometimes they even are popping through the cold snow. And in Tennessee, they do get more snow than we do sometimes. So at first, daffodils have this really tough green skin around them. It protects their blossoms. And after it gets warmer, the daffodil doesn't need this protection, and so this piece shrivels up and turns brown. Do y'all see some little brown pieces sticking off those daffodils? Yeah. So often in our lives, just like the daffodils, some part of us has to shrivel up and die so that new parts can grow out of us and give beauty to the world. Oddly enough, the dead, shriveled up part of the daffodil doesn't fall away. It's still there in the pictures. So there's two really important lessons that we can learn from daffodils to help ourselves and to help each other as a community of Westside. One is we can be brave enough, we can be wise enough when the time is right to push out from under our tough skins of our souls that protect us from all that is hard and from all that is harsh. That can damage the more fragile parts of ourselves. We can let some parts of ourselves die so that the new parts can live in beauty. The second thing, Rusty, is that we can hold on to the shriveled up dead bits, especially if doing so helps us to remember and to honor and to value those parts of ourselves, all parts of our experience. Just because we don't need that part anymore or that way of being in the world now doesn't mean that part has no value. It's very necessary to have that protection then, and very good to remember and appreciate it now. And you see, all of that about the daffodil reminded me of last Sunday. It reminded me of the youth who shared vulnerability, who shared desire for our better world. It reminded me that they didn't let go of the pieces that they were, but they are acknowledging the pieces that they want. And adults let go of some of who they were because we know better, we can do better. We're continuing to learn. So I hope this week that when you see flowers, maybe even a daffodil, you can remember how far the daffodil came to get to where it is today, and to look at yourselves and to think about how far we've come as a community. We still have work to do, but we get to do it together, and we get to remember where we were and know that we can do better, and more is coming, and hope is coming. I hope you guys all have a wonderful daffodil flower-filled week, and remember to flame on.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
Good morning. I'm Barbara Crotty, your pastoral care associate this morning. In our community here at Westside, we make time each week to share pieces of our lives with one another. We do this because each person in this community has value. Submit your joys and concerns to the team by completing one of these orange forms, which I don't have, but they're right outside the store whenever you're looking for them, at the welcome desk, or emailing us at pastoralcare@westsideu.org, or contacting me or John Fisher, Debbie Rake, Jane Hardwick, Brenda McKeon, or Carol Kappa, who are the current members of the team. We share our concerns with one another today, knowing that sorrows come into each person's life, and knowing that together we offer comfort. And concerns turned in here. But we also share our joys with one another, knowing too that joy comes into all our lives, and knowing that together our voices can rise in a chorus of celebration. And one thing that's joyful for us is that Tom Woods is here with us, having had a successful surgery. Welcome back. We make space each week for musical centering, knowing the life and experience of every person matters, and together our lights shine brighter. So join us in our centering song, which is number 352.
Find a stillness.
Find a stillness, hold a stillness, let the stillness carry me. Find the silence, hold the silence, let the silence carry me. In the Spirit, by the Spirit, with the Spirit giving power, I will
Good morning. My name is Jana Francois Kennard, and I am a member of the meditation groups at Westside, and actually a co-leader. Our meditation this morning will begin with an introduction before we move into a moment of silence. Our bell will sound to signal the start of your own meditation, prayer, or reflection, and it will sound again at the end. Our meditation today is the Mohawk Prayer of Thanks. A millennium ago, the original 6 tribes of the Northwest U.S. were at war with each other until the great peacemaker came, and gradually, with his words and actions, helped the people form a 6-nation council for making peaceful choices together. Mohawks are one of the tribes in the 6-nation confederacy. Their understanding of how to live in peace and harmony is reflected in their prayer of thanksgiving, which they offered every morning. The following is a portion of that prayer. Today, we have gathered together to acknowledge that we have been given the duty to live in balance and harmony with each other and all living beings. Now our minds are one. We gather our minds together to greet and give thanks to our mother, the earth, for she gives us everything we need to live a good life. It gives us joy that she continues to care for us as she has from the beginning of time. Now our minds are one. We give thanks to all the waters of the world for quenching our thirst and for providing food for the plant life. With one mind, we send greetings and thanks to the spirit water. Now our minds are one. With one mind, we turn to honor and thank all the plants. Since the beginning of time, the grains, vegetables, beans, berries, and medicinal herbs have helped the people survive. Many other living things draw strength from them too. We gather all the foods together as one and send them a greeting and thanks. Now our minds are one. We gather our minds together to send greetings and thanks to all the animal life in the world. They have many things to teach us as people. Now our minds are one. Our thoughts now turn to the sky. We send greetings and thanks to our eldest brother, the sun, who is the source of life. Each day, without fail, he travels the sky from east to west, bringing the light of a new day. With the sun, we can see the perfect gifts for which we are grateful. Now our minds are one. We put our minds together and give thanks to our oldest grandmother, the moon, who lights the nighttime sky. She is the leader of women all over the world, and she governs the movement of the ocean tides. With one mind, we send greetings and thanks to our grandmother, the moon. Now our minds are one. We gather our minds to greet and thank the enlightened teachers who have come to help throughout the ages. When we forget how to live in harmony, they remind us of the way we were instructed to live as people. With one mind, we send greetings and thanks to these caring teachers. Now our minds are one. We send greetings and thanks for all the gifts of creation. Everything we need is here. For all the love that is still around us, we gather our minds together as one and send our choicest words of greetings and thanks. Now our minds are one. May we be good company to one another in our questions and our journey. May it be so. Blessed be, and amen.
Here at Westside, we practice our UU faith in a variety of ways. One of those ways is by giving 100% of gifts in our weekly collection, unless otherwise designated, to support organizations who carry out our transcendent values of compassion, justice, and equality. Westside's plate offering for May is the Texas UU Justice Ministry, or TXUUJM, our state action network for Texas. Westside has been a member congregation since 2012. TXUU Justice Ministry educates and organizes Texas UUs, congregations, and partners to advocate effectively for UU principles in public policy and the public square. In March, UUs gathered in Dallas for education, community building, and to gear up for next year's legislative session. 6 Westsiders took part, including one of our youth. Each Thursday, TXUU Justice Ministry offers an action hour in which Texas UUs come together to take collective action on various issues, join in community book readings, and hear from speakers who share our values. Ask Cindy Fountain how you can take part. I don't think Cindy's here with us today, but she usually is, and you can catch up with her next week. Stay tuned for June 6th Action Hour to be in conversation with columnist Steve Phillips, author of How We Win the Civil War, Securing a Multiracial Democracy. And before too long, get ready to participate in the TXUU Justice Ministry sponsored nonpartisan postcard writing campaign for the 2024 election. TXUU Justice Ministry can't make this happen without member congregation support. So with your contribution today, Westside and other Texas UUs can do the work of bending Texas toward justice together. We thank you. Please give generously to the Texas UU Justice Ministry as you are able. And again, thank you. You can give online through the church giving page located at the Giving tab at the top of our home page on our church website. Just be sure to select the Service Project Fund and add the name of today's designated group. You can also give using the Vanco mobile app, which is easily downloaded from the App Store. And finally, another easy option is to simply mail a check to the church at 901 Page Avenue here in Fort Worth, 76110. That's here. We thank you for your offering today. The offering music today will be Natural Beauty by Neil Young, performed by Yuki. Thank you for putting into practice the spiritual value of generosity. Our giving connects us to the wider web of our community. And thank you also for keeping your stewardship commitment to keep our congregation's important work going.
I'll present a reading called Mother Earth, Her Whales by Gary Snyder, and this is an excerpt. An owl winks in the shadows. A lizard lifts up on tiptoe, breathing hard. Young male sparrow stretches up his neck, big head, watching. The grasses are working in the sun. Turn it green, turn it sweet, that we may eat and grow our meat. The whales turn and glisten, plunge and sound and rise again, hanging over the subtly darkening deeps, flowing like breathing planets in the sparkling whirls of living light. Wild geese hatched out in Siberia head south over the basins of the Yang, the Huang, what we would call China. On flyways they have mused 1,000,000 years. Ah, China, where are the tigers, the wild boars, the monkeys, like the snows of yesteryear? Gone in a mist, a flash, the dry, hard ground is parking space for 50,000 trucks. Is man the most precious of all things? Then let us love him and his brothers and all of those fading, living beings. North America, Turtle Island, taken by invaders who wage war around the world. May ants, may abalones, otters, wolves, and elk rise and pull away their giving from the robot nations. Solidarity, the people, standing tree people, flying bird people, swimming sea people, four-legged, two-legged people. How can the head-heavy, hungry, power-hungry politic speak for the leaf and the green, speak for the soil? Ah, Margaret Mead, do you sometimes dream of Samoa? An owl winks in the shadow. A lizard lifts up on tiptoe, breathing hard. Whales turn and glisten, plunge and sound and rise again, flowing like breathing planets in the sparkling whirls of living light. If we can start that first slide. I've always been a creek kid. How about y'all? Yes. Creeks are watery conduits to a child's imagination. Untamed, unmowed, full of life. The opposite of lawns. I spent long summer days in the creek pretending I was shipwrecked on a tropical island, sustained only by nature and elephant ear plants. And the tadpoles, oh, the tadpoles and their magical metamorphosis into frogs and toads, creatures who were neither water nor land, not confined by a category, an outsider like me who didn't fit into the fanciness and the restraint of North Dallas. Quoting from Wild DFW, I followed the tributary downstream, crawling through honeysuckle tangles, trespassing, basically, sneaking along the edges of lawns until I reached the towering pale limestone walls of White Rock Creek. Just 6 years old and a mile from home, I dared not to go any further. I stared and wondered where the creek was bound and if there were kids like me along it, chasing tadpoles. Nearly 60 years later, after gazing down White Rock Creek and wondering where it went, I made it to the creek's confluence with the Trinity River deep in the great Trinity Forest bottomlands. From Wild DFW, my boots slip on the slick clay bank. I carefully inch closer to the edge, squat down, and touch the water. White Rock Creek had squeezed into channels and snaked through wild sections for over 30 miles to run through my fingers. From here, it commingles with the Trinity and flows to the Gulf of Mexico. This creek connects my present to the past and North Texas to the waters of the world. I touch the same water in existence since Precambrian times, repeating without pause through the hydrological cycle. It was a moment of utter timelessness. There is still wonder in the natural world of North Texas, even with the 6 decades of development since my childhood. The preface to Wild DFW states, "Our nature is not over there in remote wilderness. It's here, hidden along rivers and creeks, tucked away on the fringes of reservoirs, on rocky hilltops and floodplains, wherever development was unfeasible." Wild DFW states, "Abandon the idea that prime outdoors means majestic mountains, deep canyons, and ocean views. Nature here is not a distant vista that you admire. It's something you immerse yourself in and become a part of while it becomes a part of you. If you're willing to look in North Texas nature with a sense of acceptance, you'll discover an environment that invites curiosity and blooms with a little knowledge." I have stood and wondered beneath the immense cottonwoods on the banks of the Clear Creek outside of Denton, surrounded by arbor elders, oaks, ashes, elms, bodarks, laced by vines gracefully draping from massive limbs, an undulating green carpet of Virginia wild rye and wood oaks, and tucked among them were plants like prickly lettuce and elephant foot, medicinal and wise. And at that same preserve, I stood and wondered where the trail was. It was shorter to go forward than to walk all the way around and retrace our steps, so forward we went. Do you know how fun it is to get soaked and filthy and to not care? You know? Once a year, at least, get filthy wet. It's better than therapy. Cheaper, too. We shuffled past floating jelly balls, frog eggs that were going to become tadpoles far, far from where they were born. We went past floating rafts of fire ants made of nothing but fire ants. And when the bottom layer drowns, another layer takes their place so that the hive holds. Nature is truly wild and strangely civilized. So go to a small preserve and let yourself get lost. Let yourself lose control. Depart the paved trail and let your feet decide where to go. Just wander. Have no purpose, no stress, no plan. And you'll be 6 again. Go a couple of minutes into the forest or prairie and stop. Literally shake off the drives and the worries of the day. Ground your feet, swivel your hips, roll your neck. Be in your body. Be this kid. Find something to lean against or a place to sit. Inhale the air. Breathe through your mouth. Understand the aroma of nature. Close your eyes and do some aware listening in 3D. There are sounds in the ground that you might not have noticed unless you get down low. There are skinks skittering and snakes slithering. Sounds in the foliage, birds exploring for stems for seeds and bugs, coyotes slipping through unseen, and sounds in the canopy, calls and loud territorial skirmishes, cicadas buzzing, and tree frogs piping. Open your eyes and look at nature in layers. See not a wash of green, but layers that unfold upon inspection. The shape of leaves and how they emerge from the stem. No two plants are quite alike. Notice how the leaves shimmer in micro breezes and respond to sunlight that slips between the boughs or the blades of grass. Stand and breathe deep from your belly. Notice how when you do, your spine extends upward, as if lifted by the electromagnetism emanating from the Earth's core. And when you exhale, feel the tug of gravity on your tailbone, connecting you to home. You are awash in earth energies at all times, regardless of where you are, even in skyscrapers. There are rare places in North Texas where the earth is as it was made, unchanged, unaltered, pristine. Never sundered by plow, like the Fort Worth Prairie on the east side of Benbrook Lake. Never sundered by plow, the biome is in the soil is unchanged for tens of thousands of years. There are clumps of grass over 100 years old. There is, yes, old growth grass. Take the narrow wisp of a trail through the short grasses and feel the history. Listen to the echoes of the Chisholm Trail. Wander amid memories that are fading into time. From wild DFW, the further we traveled, the more it became a landscape unchanged for eons. Grasses move like water in the strong wind, setting the prairie in constant motion like it's flowing. As we crest another ridge, the present world disappears. There's no sign of civilization, no poles, no power lines, nothing but the barest wisps of a path. There is holiness to this land, being just as it was created. But most nature in North Texas is not that way. It's go-back land. All but 1% of the prairie was plowed for agriculture, or tilled and seeded with imported pasture grasses, or developed. Vast amounts of forest were leveled for lumber, and then the same was done, put into agriculture. But after World War II, millions left the farms and ranches for cities, where there was now a new synthetics and petrochemicals industry, and the land was allowed to go back to nature. But it's hard to tell that when you're standing beneath the enormous oaks and pecans at Goat Island Preserve in southern Dallas County, listening to the distinctive call of a pileated woodpecker so high in the trees that it's unseen. From wind-blown seeds deep in the dirt, from pecan and acorns buried for decades in the soil, the forest remembered what it was and returned to create that. The land never forgets. The Great Trinity Forest is a returnee, where freed slaves homesteaded row crops and then settlers dairy farms. Amid the trees grown back, a huge pit was dug for dirt to create a levee so that the Bonton neighborhood would stop washing away in floods. Filled with rain, that pit is now a pond. Pelicans come, cormorants encamp, white-tailed deer sip from its shores where flocks of red-winged blackbirds, iridescent like jewels in the midday sun, adorn swaths of cattails. This is the rebirth of restoration. There in the forest perpetual twilight, fungi spores settle upon the forest litter of fallen limbs and bloom into mushrooms. The fungi's mycelium decompose the wood into soil, aided by insects that colonize the timber, in turn feeding the birds and amphibians, snakes, and lizards. In the forest, life arises from death, ever reminding us of our hubris in the face of mortality. Nature is a gift, and not just for the beauty. Nature wants nothing from us, has no expectations of us. It doesn't want to lobby or convert us or sell us anything at all. It's a completely neutral environment. How often do we get to experience that, especially kids? The current hot topics in news and culture mean nothing to nature. It has no clock or calendar. Nature is utterly uninterested in us. What a blow to our ego. Nature is the ultimate antidote to narcissism. Being in nature helps us find the core of who we are. We can stop doing and just be. When we are with others in nature, away from the distractions of society, we bond in authenticity as humans walking the earth together, as we have done for millions of years. Be curious about the land where you live. You don't live on a street, you live in a watershed. The water that falls in your yard or parking lot eventually flows into some creek or furrow, and then on to the Trinity or one of its forks, and then to the Gulf of Mexico. Get to know your dirt and appreciate it, and where it came from, and the specific plants it engenders, and the wildlife that live off those plants. Know your bedrock. It underlies everything. That's a geology joke. Okay. North Texas has at least 8 layers of bedrock, and each bedrock creates a different type of soil. And each soil type fosters a unique plant community, which in turn supports a specific range of wildlife and insects. And the result here is that we have rampant diversity that is greatly unheralded, but did enable us to place 6th in the world in the iNaturalist City Nature Challenge recently. Yeah. These are your roots, and Wild DFW can help you find them. The more tied you are to the earth, the more connected you'll be to your community, church, family, or whatever social group you have. Connection arises from the dirt, just as the word human has the same root as humus, the decomposed organic matter in the soil. North Texas nature is special, and we are in a desperate race to save the little that is left. Monuments made by man are built in sand. Only nature and its creative force persist. A green heron was crafted by hundreds of thousands of years of evolution into absolute perfection at what it does. Humans are nowhere close to that. Make time for nature. Consider it mental and physical health maintenance, what you do to reset. Find a place and love it. Care for it. Know that you are its voice. Get to know its volunteers and jump in. You can find all these people at wild-dfw.com website under the tab Community. Steward the land. Leave a legacy. Nature changed my life. I shattered my C2, my second cervical vertebrae, called a hangman's fracture. 3/4 who incur it die right away. The rest are left paralyzed. I am part of the 2% that walked away. A brilliant Baylor surgeon sandwiched the remaining bits and pieces of my C2 vertebrae between my C1 and C3 and stabilized the whole thing with titanium rods and screws. A 3-inch slice of my pelvis was bone grafted to it. But 1/4 of our balance comes from the pivot of C1 upon C2, which I don't have anymore. It's like a gyroscope, and I essentially had to learn to walk again. And it was rough getting that balance back. After sitting in a recliner for 2 months while the bone graft fused my vertebrae, I spent months wearing a neck brace and using a walking cane. It wasn't until I started walking trails regularly that my balance returned. The uneven surfaces, the slopes, the slippery dirt, all these things retrained my inner ear's vestibular system. Eventually, I was able to put away the cane and the brace for good. And now I am a relentless advocate for the health benefits of natural, not paved, trails. I hit all the trails I could find to complete my healing, and those trails are a big part of Wild DFW. Few of the places that you've seen in the photos tonight wouldn't be possible without the many hours of effort by volunteers like Texas Master Naturalists, Native Prairies Association of Texas, and the Native Plant Society, groups like Texas Conservation Alliance and the Sierra Club. This book is an extended love letter to them. These people plant trees they'll never sit under the shade of, and their altruism absolutely floors me. If you struggle with cynicism and sometimes lose hope, hang out with these folks. Seriously, best antidepressant ever. Plus, a restoration session is also better than therapy. It's a workout that makes you feel good, makes you feel like you're doing something significant, and it's free. And you'll find all these folks on the community tab at Wild-DFW. Also, if you'll visit my Facebook page for Wild-DFW, you will see a portrait, and in Instagram, a portrait of this amazing community. And I ask you to please consider the Wild-DFW website as a resource for North Texas nature. If you liked all these photos you've seen, check out the photographers for links to more of their work. And the community page that I've mentioned and all my talks and walks like this one are listed there. And I even have a newsletter when I remember to send it. That was March when I last sent it. I will get a May newsletter out. And I even have the books and book pages and Facebook, Instagram, run all that stuff. And immerse yourself in this amazing community. Work with these groups in bringing nature into your own yard. Read the first few chapters in Wild-DFW. They have great info to help you figure out how to do this. Bring nature into your yard. Make your mark close to you. Plant a native prairie, pocket prairie in your alley strip. Ask to start a pollinator garden in your local school or at your church. There are even grants for this now. And if you plant it, the insects and invertebrates, the reptiles and amphibians, and the birds, they will all come. And from that arises joy and wonder. Nature is above as it is below. So tap into the natural rhythms of the moon that can be felt anywhere. Feel the waxing, as we are doing now, and the waning, the cycles that remind us that this too shall pass, the troubles and the triumphs. When you connect with the moon, it will humble you. Catch the sunset some evening, and remember that we live in a universe of celestial dervises, circles inside a big giant spiral in the sky. As you do, consider that the sun is a star. It is a star in an infinite universe of stars. It is our star, and we are the third planet from its edge. Against all odds, as I know so well, we are here. Let us celebrate this day, and happy Mother's Day to all of you. Thanks so much. I appreciate it. That's very sweet of you. Oh, thank you. Please stand as you are able and sing the closing hymn, number 301. Touch the sky, touch the earth, reach the sky, and do your deep breathing. In, all right.
Touch the earth, reach the sky. Walk on shores, while spirits
Fly over the ocean, over the land. Our faith is a quest. Understand. Touch the earth and reach the sky. Children ask the reasons why. In our lives, the answers show, and in our love they learn and grow. Touch the earth and reach the sky. All are born and all shall die. Lies the time left in between to start to build our dream. Our closing words are, thank you, Mother Earth. Thank you, Mother Earth. Thank you, living water. Thank you for my birth. Thank you from your daughter. Thank you, Father, Son. Thank you, air in motion. Thank you, everyone. Earth, sun, air, and ocean. The chalice is now extinguished, but the light lives on in our minds and hearts and the souls of every one of you. Carry that flame with you as you leave this place and share it with those you know, with those you love, and most especially for those you have yet to meet. And now, please stand and join me in the congregational closing. Go in peace, seeking justice. Go in peace, committed to equal rights and opportunities for all. Go in the peace that is created when together we build communities of true solidarity, deep compassion, and fierce, unrelenting love. Go in peace. May it be so, blessed be, and amen.